Greetings, everybody. Yes, we are once again live from Studio B at the Beach Street Yacht Club here in rainy but beautiful San Francisco in the Marina District. Julia, I trust you are well.
Indeed.
Any hot tips?
Oh, I think everybody's on their own side for the Super Bowl. So
Super Bowl, that's still more than a week away.
I know.
I'm your host, Tom Eamon. Welcome to the show here, and we've got a good one for you again today. Thanks for the many contributions from the FOSI, the Friends of Sailing Illustrated, who send things in from around the world. Let's get on with it. We've been following this gal her name's Cole Brower, of course, who is competing in the Global Solo Challenge. She's from Booth Bay, Maine. The first woman, apparently, that's going to circumnavigate the globe and go through via the Three Capes, of course. Solo. Thank you, Julia. And she is just doing, and nonstop, and she's just doing a marvelous job of it. And this is where she is. She is in this little light blue boat right here. This is the leader we'll talk about in a moment up there, and this is the details of her current positioning. This from a couple hours ago, doing 7.8 knots. Her position today, the 2nd of Feb at 1200 UTC, and of course it's now 2100, so that was a few hours ago. She's making steady progress toward the finish line in A Coruña, in the northwest corner of Spain. So bravo Zulu to her. And I'd just commend this video.
So I am just sailing along. The last couple days have been so lovely. I've actually got some squalls developing right now. I'll show you. So you guys can kind of see this section right here. So kind of getting a little bit of a drizzle. It's coming down. And so this is just a rain squall. You can kind of see like the line. And so it just picks up breeze for a second and then drops it back down. The breeze has been between 20 to 23. But I love these little squalls. They're so beautiful. And for all the non-sailors, what I'm really looking at is the breeze increasing. So you see those little white caps? So that's telling me that there's more breeze coming. And usually on flat water, white caps begin at around 12 knots of breeze. But it's a nice morning. It's not that sunny yet, but I'm sure it will. I can already see it trying to peek through some blue sky. Yeah. There's my little squall. Alright, cheers, guys.
How cool is she, Julia?
Oh, I just love her.
Huh?
Oh, yes, absolutely. No, she's just full of life.
She has a nice thing on Instagram. Most of these sailors do. And I don't know who this Renee is, 1963. It's amazing how much we learn from you. For a non-sailor, I am only learning about sailing, but also being reminded about courage, grit, determination, and pure joy. Thank you for taking us along on your journey. And Julia, I
nice.
couldn't put it better than that.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So I love the comments on social
Yes.
media. People complain about it, but it's really, really nice indeed. Let's look at her current situation. She is running second to Philippe Delamare, no surprise, and he's sailing Mowgli. His distance to finish is, this again a couple hours ago when I grabbed the screen grab, from the Global Solo Challenge website. DTF there in the third, fourth column from the right, 3,300 miles and change. And his estimated finish for Felipe is the 21st of Feb. Sailing her first light, Cold Brower, is a ways behind, as you could see in that graphic a moment ago. Her estimated finish is the 2nd of March. So she's still got about a month of sailing to go, according to the projections. And Andrea Mura in Vento di Sardinia, the Italian, Sardinia is the Italian pronunciation. He is running third and estimated to finish on the 8th of March. Bravo Zulu to all of them. Fantastic to follow this race.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah, yes.
You like it?
I do.
I think the comments from the Fozy too. I mean, the Fozy again have talked us into this because of their interest. Don Lunabos saying, "Go Cole." I'm going to read from the bottom up. Steve Groover replying, "I've heard in folklore about a great bright light in the sky that brings warmth and happiness. This was known as the sun." Tell you what, it's not very sunny here in San Francisco. It comes out every now and then, and it's cold. We had a cold front pass through here. It's been rainy in California, up and down the coast for the last 3 days, 4 days even. And it's, what were you doing at 29? You see that comment
I know.
from
I saw it.
Hanfield?
Perfect.
Yeah, it is a perfect comment.
Yeah.
Lunabos checking in from Sonoma. Ed Worley saying that was a really nice video. Good morning to you, Peter McDonald, and your fabulous wife, Dion Ficker McDonald, with whom I spoke to both of them last night, Julia.
Oh, good.
And on, Hanfield's comment, which has gone off the top of the list now that Patrice is checking in, Patrice Rachlin from Naples, Florida. But Hanfield's comment, John said, "Cole is the best sailor, male or female, that I have sailed with in decades. Her passion, drive, and her ability to see the breeze and know when to tack is amazing. This is the kind of woman that young girls should look up to." Yeah, it plays in with that video that we did at the end of Tuesday's show about what is fabulous, our beloved sport does for kids and adults for that matter.
Yes. And it teaches you about many things, and also how to consider them all at once, because you have to.
Well, and money. But it's all about self-reliance. It's about, a kid, I don't remember this as a sailing and going out sailing around the lake by myself, putting the sail up on my grandfather's the Flying Scot at age 9,
Right.
8, 9, because it was the only boat I could get the mainsail to have this crank system that Sandy Douglas designed. The Thistle, the Flying Scot, the Highlander, whatever else. And you could get the mainsail up if you were, in my case, probably 70 or 80 pound weakling. And then going and sailing the boat around the lake and coming back and knowing how to drop the sail. I didn't think that was a big deal. I just thought that's something that all kids did.
Of course.
But of course, that was not the case. Bravo Zulu to her, and Bravo Zulu here to our next segment. To Matty Weirn, who has won again. He's repeated as the ILCA 7 Worlds winner. That down in Adelaide. We've had Alistair Murray. We've had John Emmett reporting on it. And these beautiful photos from Jack Fletcher, the Australian, Down Under Sail. has sent some great photos our way via sail-world.com. This is Matt with his coach, and his coach, the esteemed Spaniard sailor, racer, Rafa Trujillo. And Rafa, whom I know not well, but I've met him several times, Rafael Joaquin Trujillo Villar is a Spanish sailor of the Finn class. What a kind of a class is that, I wonder?
Yeah.
The Finn class. And an Olympic medalist. He won the Finn Gold Cup once and competed in 4 straight Olympic Games, winning a silver in Athens 2004. He also sailed in the Cup and the America's Cup with the Plus 39 Challenge in 2007 in Valencia, Spain. And that, of course, that team was led by another Finn sailor and our Fozy from Italy, Luca Devoti, who also lives in Spain.
Yes.
And bravo Zulu to Matt and to his coach, Rafa. And this is the scene as they were coming into the beach. And sailworld.com wrote, "It's party time in Adelaide today." This is a couple days ago. For Matt Weirn, the Australian, obviously, with the reigning Olympic champion dominating the ILCA 7 World Championship medal race. Not only was he leading going into this medal race, then he won the medal race on his way to securing a second consecutive world title. The Perth-based athlete took an 8-point lead into today's race, where he found a clean lane off the start, which catapulted him to a lead he held at every mark. You talk about dominance.
Wow.
He is the first Australian to win back-to-back world titles since the Slingers, since Tom Slingsby won in 2012, and I think 2013. To win a Worlds, this is his quote, "To win a Worlds is pretty incredible, and to go back-to-back just makes it that much more special. To do it in Oz, his home country, with family and friends around, is awesome," said Weirn after racing.
That's got to be true.
And here is a nice video, courtesy of John Emmett Sailing, taken on the beach after his win.
Yeah, it's always pretty surreal this soon after the race. Yeah, it was certainly, I got a few tingles there during the race, especially when I ran at the first top marking first. And yeah, I sort of figured that obviously couldn't go into cruise control, but that the job was almost half done then. Yeah, it's surreal. It's great. Yeah, to win a world championship in itself is incredible, but to do it back to back and in the Olympic year as well, and have to do it quite close together too, makes it feel even more special. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more emotion in it. Yeah, obviously being in Adelaide in Australia is incredible, and not many people can say that they've had a home world championship, and yeah, this is probably as close as I'm going to get to it. So yeah, it feels incredible, and yeah, to have family and friends so close by just makes that much more special.
Nice video, John Emmett. Thank you very much for that. I'm not a big fan of vertical video, but it's black, Julia. Let's get out of the black and get to another nice photo of Matt as we look at the top 10. Matt way out ahead ultimately. And then, I mean, we can read through the names, but more importantly, as Ted Ryman checks in from Cape Town and Stingray up in Seattle. But look at this: Australia, Norway, Great Britain, Germany, New Zealand, Cyprus, France, Croatia, Ireland, and then another Australian. This is how cool this class is.
It is.
This ILCA 7, formerly what we used to call the Laser, but it is a fabulous class, well distributed around the world. I mean, look at their worlds. Just an amazing, and these, you can talk about, Pablos Contilles, who's one of the, I think he's won the Worlds, hasn't he? In 6th place. And Philip Buell from Germany, and Michael Beckett from the UK. These guys are all top-notch sailors. Bravo Zulu to them all. Top Americans, as far as I could tell, looking through the long list, were 44th and 46th. The brothers Marshall and Ford McCann. I don't know them. And you may notice Facundo Oleza's name there in 47th. He had a couple DSQs no doubt John could fill us in on what happened to him. Let's go over to the comments. As we see, Rick Manero noting 0 Americans in the top 10. Well, they got trials. They got other things going on here, so we probably don't have our best laser sailors down there, but we're just struggling in Olympic classes for a whole lot of reasons. John's given us the link to a full video. And Bravo Zulu again to John. We've got his report coming up. And John says, well, the USA and Canada haven't qualified for the games in the ILCA class, so they're not sending people to the Worlds, saving money, I suppose, which is really a sad state of affairs. No Stingray. I have no idea what Matt pays Rafa to be his coach. And Rick's making a comment about the coverage and on and on and on. Fabulous stuff. Bravo Zulu. In fact, more Bravo Zulu, because now we've got the title of the cover slide for this show. U.S. Sailings,
Yes.
have awarded their Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year for 2023, and they are Charlie Enright and Christina Wolfe. They were awarded U.S. Sailings 2023 Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year awards last night in Savannah. It's a nice affair at the Savannah Yacht Club. I've seen the video. I watched. I was sitting here putting the show together, minding my own business, when I started getting notes from people. Of course, I was on the panel that voted after the 6 people had been nominated, 3 men, 3 women. And it was a pleasure. I won't say who I voted for. I'm not sure that would be appropriate. But suffice to say, Julia,
Yes.
I'm not unhappy about who won.
I'm so happy to hear
I
that.
think it was the right call. So what is the Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year? Well, it's a trophy, and of course the winners also get a Rolex timepiece. It was established in 1961 by U.S. Sailing and sponsored by Rolex Watch USA since 1980. In fact, I was executive director and head of the Rolex Yachtsman of the Year committee when this happened in 1980. We were able to sign up Rolex. The annual Sorry?
Did you get a watch?
No, I didn't, not because of this, but ultimately Rolex, I was chairing, emceeing the annual presentation, and we did it in those days in the model room at the New York Yacht Club.
Uh-huh.
And Rolex very kindly said, well, we better get you in a proper timepiece
Yes.
and come down to New York.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
And I went down. They made a big deal, and they gave me a great price. I paid for it, but frankly, the price was right.
Yeah,
to be fair,
that's great.
So it was established in 1980. The annual presentation of this award recognizes the individual male and female U.S. sailors who have demonstrated on the water excellence at international and national events, but there was a heavy emphasis on international, to earn their place in the history of the sport. These prestigious awards are widely viewed by the sail racing industry as the foremost individual sail racing industry. What the hell? As the foremost individual competitive sailing honors in the nation by sailors in this country, as they should be. On Thursday, last night, February 1st, as part of U.S. Sailing's National Sailings Program Symposium, the best U.S. sailor athletes of 2023 were honored among family, friends, peers, competitors, and contributors to the sport of sailing. Charlie Enright, Barrington, Rhode Island, and Christina Wolfe, Orcas, Washington, were awarded that should make you happy, Sting, right? Were awarded the 2023 Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year award, and were celebrated along with the other nominees, the finalists for 2023, Betsy Allison, Erica Reinecke, Steve Hunt, and Alan Terhune Jr., all extremely valid nominees, and bravo Zulu to the panel. I'm not on the nomination panel. That's a broader group, and including former winners that nominated those 6. And it was, I don't think I'd say it was a hard decision based on the international performance of those 3, but all 6 were eminently qualified. As skipper, speaking of qualifications, Charlie Enright led the 11th hour racing team in the ocean race to become the first American flag team to ever win TOR in 2023. in his third shot at the elusive Ocean Race Trophy, formerly the Volvo, formerly the Whitbread. The win had been over 10 years in the making for his team and over 6 years in the making for 11th Hour Racing.
Yeah,
Now, notwithstanding that Kayard has won the event, but not sailing for an American team.
Oh, that's
Remember
right.
that? Kostecki
Yeah,
has won the event,
right.
sailing for a German team. So there's a bit of fine slicing and dicing there. But bravo Zulu to Charlie nonetheless. Christina Wolfe is an accomplished, and she is a super accomplished offshore sailor, having put thousands of offshore miles under her belt. Wolfe is best known for her double-handed sailing, which she does often with her husband, Justin. In 2023, Wolfe achieved first overall ORC, second overall IRC, and the double-handed line honors in the Rolex Middle Sea Race, which we reported on extensively here on Sailing Illustrated. First female skipper overall in the Rolex Fastnet Race, and first in the IRC2 at the Wijan. I checked the pronunciation. I'm still murdering it. I'm sure the Wijan Bowl, all achieved double-handed. So, she is an amazing sailor. I mean, notwithstanding that she's got her husband on the boat, but they co-helmet, and she is the real deal, according to people who have sailed extensively with her. Here's a list of people who've won it, just to give you an idea, especially you here in the States over the last 10 or so years. Terrific list of people, and we are very proud to have Christina and Charlie added to this list at the top for 2023. Bravo Zulu to them. I should probably go to comments here. What do we want to start with? Warren Schasser, good morning from Brisbane in Australia. Hello, Warren. Cyprus can afford to send sailors, but U.S. sailing can't. Yeah, John, it is a bit of it's sad. I don't know if it's a disgrace, but we all know our Olympic program needs a lot of work. Stingray's making a joke, Julia. One hears that Taylor Swift has received an honorary entry for the Paris Olympics in the
Pova.
Okay.
Jumping higher.
That definitely deserves a finger wag, the first of this show, Stingray. I think he works really hard. Banero agrees, Julia. Waggy, waggy. You didn't give him one, though. Gordon Smith, I do hope the current U.S. sailing situation doesn't impact Rolex sponsorship of the award. Good point, Gordon. I hope not, too. Charlie Enright, Gov Cup alumni. Yes, Rich Fishbeck down in SoCal. Good point with that. It is the first ever The Ocean Race, Steve Gruber pointing out. So that is the qualification, first American to win the Ocean Race as opposed to the Volvo or opposed to the Whitbread, which is the Litany. But still, it's kind of, come on, guys, come on. It's the same thing. One more kind of honorable mention, Bravo Zulu, before we get into the B block here. This gentleman, do you know who that is, Julia?
No.
I don't either, but I read that Ryan Kelly, who's a Canadian, has been named the new Sail Canada CEO, and you'll probably wonder whether he is the real deal,
Yes.
whether he is a sailor or not, and Sail Canada has confirmed the hiring, because their previous CEO, executive director, was not a sailor. Has confirmed the hiring of Ryan Kelly as its new chief executive officer starting 11 March, a lifelong sailor.
Yay.
Kelly worked for a long period of time in support of the Cadets Canada sailing program, and he was the president of Sail Newfoundland and Labrador for 8 years.
Wow.
So bravo Zulu to them. It's great to see a sailing CEO, at least in Canada, right, Julia?
Right.
What are we celebrating today?
Heaven only knows.
Here's your clue. Any idea? I'll take not
Snow.
much more of a clue. It is snow. You know who that is?
No, I guess I don't.
Let's see if somebody comes up. The Fozy will know who that is, certainly. What are we celebrating today, Julia? This is your clue. GHD, Groundhog Day.
Oh,
And who is that?
Mr. Groundhog.
No, he's not Mr. Groundhog. Bill Murray, Ed Worley, ding, 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 ding. He gets the award, Bill Murray, Groundhog Day, for the movie, Julia.
Oh, okay.
The movie, but it is Groundhog Day, and of course this is Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where they celebrate Groundhog Day. And it's kind of a German and a Dutch, has some background, I guess, but it's a tradition observed in the U.S. and Canada on the 2nd of February every year. It derives from the Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on this day and sees its shadow, it will retreat to its den and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. So if it's sunny and sees its shadow, it retreats and thinks the winter goes on. It's kind of a...
It's always been backwards.
Sounds ass backwards.
Yeah.
Bass-ackwards, I should say.
Backwards.
Bass-ackwards. If it does not see its shadow, spring will arrive early. So if it's cloudy, spring will arrive early. I don't...
That's always gotten to me.
I don't.
And my Pennsylvania Dutch self says...
Are you Pennsylvania Dutch?
Yeah, my mother's side.
So you're half Pennsylvania Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
What was your dad? Inquiring minds want to know.
German.
German. Okay, so that's almost Pennsylvania.
It
Dutch.
is.
Same thing.
Yeah.
CBS reported this morning the same, that groundhog Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow on Groundhog Day 2024, meaning an early spring is on the way. How often is that an accurate prediction?
Never. Almost.
Well, not very often.
We can't expect to see an early spring, at least according to Punxsutawney Phil. Thousands of people gathered in western Pennsylvania this morning to see what his prediction would be.
Unfortunately for Phil, studies have not found a very consistent correlation between a groundhog seeing its shadow and the arrival time of spring-like weather. It's also worth noting Phil doesn't have the best track record. Over the last 10 years, his accuracy rate has only been around 40%, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
You think?
40%.
40%. But over the 100 years or so that they've been doing this, his accuracy is even, I mean, you would expect to be 50-50.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're below 50-50, that's toss of the coin. I
Yeah.
mean, bloody hell, Julia. Okay. We are also celebrating the people who keep us on the air with a contribution. Thanks for your support. Those of you who are patrons via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. We celebrate you every day of the week. We also celebrate our guest coming up on Friday the 9th, Golden Lily Ligia.
Oh, good.
Golden
That's
Lily
right.
Zhu
Yeah.
will be live from Hong Kong. That's Friday the 9th, which will be her Saturday the 10th. Which will be the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year.
Yes.
So that's why we thought it would be auspicious, Julia,
Indeed.
to have Golden Lily on the show. And we will indeed. And then that Friday, that will be on the 13th, we'll have Dawn Riley on, if she's still talking to me. She was not amused about some of my Facebook posts last night about U.S. sailing, and then she realized that maybe I was right, I think, and that U.S. sailing's PR effort last night was croutonic, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. But delighted to have Dawn coming on Tuesday the 13th. No doubt we'll talk about U.S. sailing and the Olympics and the U.S. sailing prospects. If they would just put Dawn in charge, we'd be way ahead of the game, no doubt.
No doubt.
Let's get on to the B block and our regular report from our esteemed Super Fozy John Emmett. I have a new photo for him. I thought it was better to have a photo of him sailing, not just a grinning photo in front of, in Weymouth, wherever that one was taken.
And competing.
And he's racing, obviously, in his Laser, a.k.a. Ilka. So the Coach's Corner, Super Fozy John Emmett, where he is still in Adelaide getting ready for the Masters Worlds.
Good.
Hi Tom, Julia and all the Fozy. So first of all, big shout out to Alistair, thank you very much for the top. I'm glad he guessed my size right. I think as I get older, I'm gradually needing larger clothes. Not because I'm getting muscular, but unfortunately the other way. I think Adelaide is probably going to be very good for me in the fact that we seem to have strong wind every single day, so it's a big fitness requirement. We're coming to the beginning of the Masters Championships, and one of the key things on my mind is about how much rest to take, because in terms of technique you don't really have that much opportunity to improve. And what you can do is just perform the best you can, and it's been really great to be actually at the senior event and see those level of sailors, and I think I'm always in awe at just how fit and how professional they are. And I say it's been wonderful to do a little bit more sailing myself this year, although I can't wait to get back to the full-time coaching. Fairly busy boat part now, as people are packing up, and these boats will be used as charter boats for the Masters Championships. So for some people they're going to be turning up, picking up a boat, measuring and doing the practice race all on the same day, so that's quite a lot of work. It's a bigger championship because people can bring their own boats into the Masters. In fact, it's almost twice the size. We've got 5 categories, which is split between 4 starts. I'm actually the last start, so as always I'll do my best to help out with the media at these events, but it's going to be a bit of running around. For people who haven't seen the Senior Worlds, please do check out those videos. I think it's really well done by Harry and his whole team at Down Under Sailing. I found an absolute pleasure to work with them, and I do like the medal race because that bit of excitement I think worked out well, and it was fair that you had sort of 3 boats who were popped out in front, and yeah, it was just a choice of the colour of the medal. Going to leave it there because I want to take you for a few more sort of walks and talks just to show you some of the things going on for these major championships. And for Olympic classes, the World Championships in the Olympic year is arguably the most competitive regatta because everybody's there. So you have, for example, 2 or 3 fast Australians, 2 or 3 fast Brits. Olympic Games, just like the Youth Worlds, is the rare events where it's only 1 person per country. So keep following, lots more content coming from Adelaide.
John Emmett Sailing. Get to the front of the fleet. We appreciate, as always, his regular reportage here.
Indeed.
For our show. Thanks, John. Cool stuff. And you saw his yachties. Yachties are hotties.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And we have some more of that for this show. Yeah, we do. Watch this. Because we have a Fosy Focus. Not a fuckus, a Fosy Focus.
Thank you.
Friends of Sailing Illustrated coming up here. Cool people we like to celebrate in this segment. And here is a cool person, Julia. Do you know who that is?
I know, but I think it's probably Julie.
It is. It is Julie Aarons in Cleveland. The photo she sent this morning, she had her neighbor come over, take the photo, and then they took a couple, in fact. This was a terrific
Well, how
good
neat to have that.
And she has the jersey that was sent by Alistair to Gordon Smith, who bid and said, you send me one of those, I'll make a contribution to youth sailing or something. I can't remember what Gordon said he would do in Denmark.
Yeah.
Or another Fosy. And then he said, I will pass it on. I'll pay it forward to somebody else who wants it and will make a contribution. And indeed, Julia put her hand up and said, Julie put her hand up and said, I will make a contribution to a youth charity here in the States or in the Cleveland area. And she has done so. And we don't need to name it, but she is a charitable person just because she's nice to me, even though because I'm so tough on, Grant.
Yes.
Dalton, who's one of her lifelong
she's
long
allowed
time.
to do that.
Good friend. Yeah, we appreciate the input from everybody, right?
Yes, indeed.
So, Julie, thank you. Bravo Zulu to you. I sent the shirt to you. Sorry it took so long, but we're glad that you're wearing it proudly, and we want to thank Gordon Smith again, as well as Alistair, for initiating it. Speaking of Gordon Smith, this is Gordon, second from the left, who's a regular on here, one of our best viewers, Fosy, call him what you want. He's there, obviously, with Lily and John. Look at the height difference.
Wow, yeah.
Huh? Gordon's a big boy. Now, the 2 guys on the right, I don't know if those are both Gordon's sons or one's a son and one's a friend. I'm not 100% sure, but Gordon probably will comment and tell us. But that was taken, I don't know, a year or so ago when Gordon and his kids were visiting, or at least one of his kids were visiting, John, obviously, and Lily, at the Castle Cove Sailing Club in Weymouth.
Yeah, good.
And Stingray saying that Julie Aarons is so much better looking than Grant Dalton, despite likely being a too close cousin.
I'm delighted to see her in person. It's nice to have a face.
Gordon Smith says, I think Julie needs a smaller size. She says not. She's very happy, she says, with that. So we'll leave it with that. And thanks again, Gordon, for paying it forward, for sending it along. One other bit of Fosey news, Julia. Do you know who that is?
Graham.
It is. It's our Fosey Graham Sweeney, Great Britain and up in Scotland and Yell up in the Shetlands. And he and his partner Debbie have had a rough go here. He's lost his mother recently. But, you know, we see on Facebook, and he's been without power. They've been without heat because they couldn't get a delivery of fuel oil out there. But he says now things have improved. Yes, the power, this is this morning. He sent this to me. Yes, power is back on. We have a tank full of heating oil. House is nice and warm. But we have the flu. Probably picked it up at Mom's funeral. Everyone is so huggy and kissy at these things.
That's probably true.
Hope you guys get better.
Yes.
Sorry again about the loss of your mom. I know something about that, Graham. And give Debbie a big hug for us. We appreciate very much you sending that photo and that info, that update along in our 4-hour segment, Fosey Focus. Mm-hmm. I got to get into the U.S. sailing madness just for a bit here. The 175 days, 100, I sound like I'm from Michigan, 175 days before the Paris Olympics. And, you know, U.S. Sailing has hired a new high-performance manager, director, guru, chieftain from Germany, Deutschland. On paper, he looks great, but I heard from Olympic sailors this morning, they've never seen him. They don't know who he is, where he is. At this big confab that's going on in Savannah, he's not there. Now, maybe he's coaching something, doing something in Miami with a trial. I don't know. But I don't know who he is, where he is. I'd like to get him on the show. He's got good credentials as far as his background as a coach, coming from Deutschland. A guy from Germany is not going to be able to raise much money, I don't think. And, of course, they're not counting on him to raise money. They're saying that the U.S. sailing staff is going to raise money, led by a non-sailing CEO. Really?
Who just said that?
Huh?
Who just said that?
That's what they're counting on. And, you know, I'm not even trying to be fair. The Olympics are less than 180 days away. There's been this firing back and forth between, after this lawsuit was filed, and they put out a statement, U.S. Sailing did, and then America One put out a statement which was quite clear and concise and brief. And then U.S. Sailing felt compelled to put out another statement, which they did, which they said, we're not going to litigate this in the media, but then they went on for 7 paragraphs doing just that. Well, America One, to their credit, has put out a very simple and brief statement, and I'm going to run it because I think it's so important for you to hear all sides of this controversy, which, well, you make your own minds up. But America One's statement regarding the frivolous actions by U.S. Sailing, this from a couple days ago, they fired back in what is a clear and concise statement. Here it is. U.S. Sailing continues to pursue frivolous actions against its largest donors, is the assertion by America One Racing. Doubling down on its January 16th lawsuit against America One Racing and 3 individuals, U.S. Sailing demonstrated its desperate and irresponsible behavior, this time using its own internal disciplinary body and also leaking an internal USOPC report in an attempt to discredit Billy Rue, and its financial supporter, America One. Once again, let's be clear about the facts. The report that the U.S. Sailing president is relying upon, and of course the CEO, is neither objective nor independent. For example, one of the primary allegations in the report is that Kayard and Rue influenced donors, including lead corporate sponsor Kilroy Corp., to leave U.S. sailing. This is demonstrably false. The report itself is based on a flawed interview process devoid of donor input. I didn't talk to the donors. Donors make their own decisions on where to send charitable funds, or any funds. The donors that Rue and Kayard brought to U.S. sailing, some $18 million worth, contributed based on their confidence in the performance team that was in place at the time.
Correct.
When Paul and his team were forced out of U.S. sailing, logically, many donors left as well. U.S. Sailing's defense of its allocated overhead charges as a, quote, fair and appropriate share of expenses for operational services, unquote, as we've been telling you on this show, should also raise concern. I would have added the word grave in there, grave concern. U.S. Sailing spreads membership revenue and other service revenue, like offshore revenue, across every department except the Olympic Department. Yet U.S. Sailing charges the Olympic Department nearly 7 figures to support its overhead and money-losing operations, meaning that unlike all other departments, the Olympic Department must survive on its own revenue and then use donor-designated funds to pay U.S. Sailing's bloated overhead. Again, as we've been telling you on this show. This practice is indefensible to donors and has harmed American athletes for more than 2 decades.
Gosh.
Finally, U.S. Sailing asked its internal review board, get this, Julia, to hold a hearing to discipline Kayard and Rue for the unfounded charges because U.S. Sailing violated its own rules in at least 7 instances. The review board was forced to dismiss the case and notify the parties on January 20th. This is just a couple weeks ago. However, in dismissing the case, U.S. Sailing took the unethical step of passing judgment on a case they did not hear. In another display of clandestine and unethical conduct, U.S. Sailing stated that they could have proven the charges. They could have proven the charge, even though their own review board wouldn't take them. This statement was made without a hearing nor any evidence or testimony from witnesses. Rather than embracing America One's significant support for sailor athletes, the U.S. Sailing Board is harming American athletes during their Olympic trials in just months, less than 180 days, as I mentioned at the top of this segment, before the Paris Olympic Games. U.S. Sailing's claims against America One instead expose stunning mismanagement and a misuse of resources. And to their credit, that is America One's credit, they then put the legal documents out there for you to peruse. There is the link. You can't click on it there, but there is the link to the AmericaOneRacing.us website, and go to the legal documents. They're all there. I've spent way too much time reading through them because it only confirms what this statement just said and what Julia and I have been telling you on this show for too many weeks and months and years. And we've laid off this non-sailing CEO and the organization hoping it would come good, Julia. And I'm sorry, it's just going around the gurgler, as our friends down under would say. It's just going down. And not to be petty, but to wit, let's see what happened last night in Savannah in addition to the nice awarding by Gary Jobson. He emceed that portion, very nicely handled. They ought to let Gary MC the whole damn thing. He's a pro. You don't see other organizations going out and putting an amateur up to MC it. The ESPN will MC the NBA or the NFL stuff, and they'll bring the commissioner in. He's got a prepared little 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah.
They bring some. But they get a pro like Gary to MC it and host it, and you don't have the president or other people fiddle-farting around with their paperwork and holding the trophies. And I'm trying hard not to be petty. I was minding my own business, preparing today's show, when last night I started getting calls from people who were watching the live stream, including people down in Newport Beach at the Newport Harbor Yacht Club and even at Balboa Yacht Club, who were astonished that U.S. Sailing is presenting the St. Petersburg Yacht Club Trophy. We have a prestigious award for excellence in race management, something that was started back when I was executive director. And they awarded it to the Newport Beach Yacht Club. Not the Newport Harbor Yacht Club. There is a Newport Beach Yacht Club, but it's a bar and a restaurant. And no joke. And here is the chairman of the race management committee, who's a good guy, who's a volunteer, is up there and is awarding this trophy. I'll give you I'm not going to run the video because the guy who did it, the staff should have checked his paperwork, should have checked his speech and say, hey, he's an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
And you could say it was an honest mistake, but you can't make those kinds of mistakes. At the National Sailing Program Symposium, which is going on as we speak in Savannah last night at the Savannah Yacht Club, beautiful yacht club.
Ooh, look
I've
at
been
that.
there.
Yeah.
As I said, we had the 96 Olympics in Savannah, so we spent the Sailing Olympics were there, and it's a beautiful club. And U.S. Sailing had their Steve Harvey moment last night. Harvey, as you know, has a history of mixing up, probably know, at least people in this country, mixing up Miss Universe contestants as he accidentally crowned the wrong winner at the 2015 competition.
Yes.
He announced that Miss Colombia was the winner, but I don't know if it wasn't his paperwork. He somehow read the thing. I don't know. But Miss Philippines had actually won the 2015 crown.
And it was done live on air.
Yeah, well, it was done live on air last night, too. And this was the scene at the Savannah Yacht Club last night as the USSA awards were going on. And you see that trophy over there on the left. This is the St. Pete Trophy. It's a very prestigious award. And I said, it's been going on since, 40 years ago when I was executive director. We started it then. And it, as I said, the St. Petersburg Yacht Club gave the trophy. It's coveted by yacht clubs across this country who work very hard when they put on a cool event. And they get a survey of the competitors and ask the competitors to rate the race management on a lot of different categories, yada, yada, yada. And it's a big deal. And last night it was awarded to the Newport Beach Yacht Club for their Baldwin Cup. And of course, any of us watching who know anything about the sport in this country know that it's the Newport Harbor Yacht Club. And they know the Baldwin Cup is hosted annually. It's a terrific, hard to run team racing event. They clear the mooring field out. They get their club boats, their harbor. It's a big deal. And they awarded the trophy, they said, to the Newport Beach Yacht Club. And astonishingly, nobody on the staff caught it. This thing is going on live on the live stream. Nobody put their hand up and said, excuse me, you must mean the Newport Harbor Yacht Club. It just went on. And the volunteer chairman of the race management committee called me today. I was up at your place when he called. And you heard me. The guy is very gracious, said it was my fault. I said, you're very kind to fall on your sword. But the reality is nobody on the staff was checking what the hell was going on. And frankly, the non-sailing CEO probably doesn't know that the Newport Beach Yacht Club is a bar and restaurant in Newport Harbor that everybody in the sport in that SoCal corner makes fun of. And they know it's the prestigious Newport Harbor Yacht Club. And as one of our fozies said, Clayton Allen Embley, last night, I put this up on my Facebook page, and just the long string of comments. If you can't do the simple tasks well, how will you ever do the big tasks well? Very well put, Clayton. Thank you for that. And it's just...
That's a great trophy.
It's a fabulous trophy. And bravo Zulu to the Newport Harbor Yacht Club for winning it. And look at we're getting hundreds of comments already today. Who the hell hired the current CEO, Geish? I wonder who that really is. I'm not going to read his comments because I don't know for sure. I doubt that's his name, the Latin name. What was Banner O? Hamish Ross saying, sounds to me like from afar personalities have become detached from the principal purpose of the org. You think, Hamish? I don't think any first-rate yacht club applies for this. David James, I'm sorry. A good question. I'm sure, Ed, they engraved the trophy correctly. Yeah, a good thing that never happens to me. Steve Grover, you're right. But I'm a crouton, and I admit it. And when I'm running an awards ceremony, I don't misspeak, and nor should anybody else. And if you knew something about the sport, and if the staff were checking, I mean, he not only said it once, he said it over and over and over again. So and he was reading. Somebody didn't check his paperwork. You can't award this thing. Now, if that's not bad enough, and again, not to be trivial, but the U.S. Sailing Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year Awards video, which is still on the website when I checked just before we went to air. Last night it goes up, and the first 40 some odd seconds, 44, 45 seconds, is this scene. And you start to hear Gary Jobson talking in the background, he the MC. And I don't know what that shot is, but it looks like it's under a table, some camera that's pointing under the table for the live stream. And this goes on and on and on. And not only was it on the live stream to open up the most prestigious event, awards of the night, but of the year for U.S. sailing, and nobody noticed, and nobody has trimmed the video, gone online and trimmed the video. At least if we screw up, which we sometimes do, but rarely, we go on and fix it and apologize immediately. U.S. Sailing is the gang that cannot shoot straight. Okay, enough. The president, I'm sure he's got a heart of gold. I know him, not well, but I know him. Rich Jepson is from the Bay Area. He and his, at least the executive committee of their board, at least the officers, are, I'm sorry, they got to go. They've got to resign. They got to step down. We have to have good, new, young yacht racing leadership. I'm saying it again. This is my one-time rant about this topic today. I'll probably do it again next Tuesday. They've got to go. They are FUBAR. This is a fustercluck of magnificent proportions. And it's all started with this guy they've had problems with the Olympic program over the years, but it all started with the hiring of this guy, the non-sailing CEO, Alan Ostfield. And the guy's got to go. All he's concerned about is raising enough money, resources to fund a business to support all their stakeholders. Again, they've got to focus on yacht racing, do that job well, and all these other things will take care of themselves, probably by other subsidiary or non-organizations. Okay, enough of all that. I discussed this at some length on our new Fosie's Greg Norman's show. It's a YouTube video podcast that he does called Inside Great Lakes Sailing. I commend it to you. It's on his website, on his YouTube channel, I should say, Inside Great Lakes Sailing. And that was done, we did that, I think, on Monday this week, and it is up on that YouTube channel. It's about an hour long. And Greg, by the way, who was skeptical about the problems at U.S. Sailing until he started hearing our show here of late, watching and listening. And he's come around. I think he agrees that they've got some real seminal, fundamental problems in the org. And listen, this is a guy who was in the Hall of Fame for lacrosse, as I think I mentioned on Tuesday, Hall of Fame for skiing in this country. And just as a volunteer, put his hand up, I'll help. His kids were involved. He said, I'll help reconcile, rectify, improve youth sailing at Crescent Sail Yacht Club at Crescent in Detroit, the Detroit River, and a terrific old club. So bravo Zulu to him, and I commend that to you. Comments? What, did we get some bad language up here? Yeah, come on. No coarse language, no personal attacks, no name calling, please. John Hanfield says, I'm embarrassed he has Field in his last name.
Oh.
David James says, anytime you mention Jepson, the president, Rich, you have to mention that he saved a lot of people in 1994. No, I don't, David. What have you done for us lately? He did save a lot of people, bless his heart, in that incident here during the Big Boat Series.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, and David, you've reminded us of us, and we appreciate it very much. There's got to be a catharsis. There's got to be a cleaning out of U.S. sailing. Okay? Which leads to a very appropriate this day in history, Julia. For today, the 2nd of February, 1852. It started with 1851 and that great exhibition in London, of course, which also helped spawn the America's Cup.
Yeah.
And you know what happened on the 2nd of February, 1852?
It's not Groundhog's Day.
No, that was an American thing, started in the late 1800s, I think, or early 1900s even. Here's your first clue. We've talked about it, a thing on the show, I think. You see what that is?
It looks like a toilet.
You're right. You're right, and here's the video.
2nd of February 1852, the world's first modern public toilets opened in London. Sited at 95 Fleet Street, next to the Society of Arts, the toilets were exclusively for gents. However, a public toilet for use by ladies was opened just over a week later, on the 11th of February, at 51 Bedford Street, a mile away. Although public places for doing one's business had existed for millennia, these were often simple and generally unhygienic facilities. This changed in the 19th century with the advent of the water closet. These flushable toilets were popularised following the installation of George Jennings' monkey closets at the Great Exhibition in 1851, where users were charged 1 penny, leading to the euphemistic phrase, to spend a penny.
A penny for your thoughts, Julia.
Yes.
It all started out. How is that sailing related? Well, it's not a metaphor for U.S. sailing. I'm not going that far. I'm not that Crutonic. I am connecting it to the Great Exhibition of 1851 London.
Yes.
Which led to some quasi-public, they weren't really public, they were private, they were in the Crystal Palace. And then the public toilets that in London on this day, 1852. And the ladies' toilet for the gents, and the ladies started apparently opened a week later.
Yes, as it should.
Now there is a guy called Thomas Crapper, and you see that that he is the monkey closet. No, it's not the latest drawings of U.S. Sailing's headquarters, John Hanford. John Crapper, the inventor. Wasn't it Thomas Crapper? Was it John Crapper? Philip laughing. In any event, we let's don't get into that today. We got other things to talk about, don't we? Yep.
Yes.
But we are an hour into the show, and we're getting to the last leg here. And people who think this show or I are somehow against the Middle East, we are not. We're against countries whose, shall we say, human rights records are not are suspect, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But there is a very cool event going on in Dubai right now. The SB-20 class is there in Dubai. The Emirates, over on the other side, are a little bit more modern and Western, shall we say, but modern anyway. And the SB-20 Worlds, I guess it is going on in breezy Dubai at the Dubai Offshore Club, where I have had the pleasure of judging and sailing. Watch this video.
Welcome to the Dubai Duty Free SB20 Asia Pacific Championships 2024. This is the middle of 3 events happening here at Dubai Offshore Sailing Club. This weekend we've got 38 teams and 3 days of racing, and the wind, as you can see, is in. We've got about 20 knots today and it's building over the weekend. Now, sailing here on the water, we've got 6 youth teams competing, and 3 of them are sponsored by Dubai Duty Free. And before they went out on the water earlier, I caught up with Oscar, who is the skipper of Dubai Duty Free Youth Team 2.
Yeah, Dubai Duty Free's been great. They fully support us right from the start. The boats were retrofitted out again, really cleaned up, ready to go. On top of that, they've had a few training days they've pushed for and helped support here at the club. So we've been out in the water 5 or 6 times. Never in the wind that we've got forecast, but yeah, we're really looking forward to it and excited to do it.
And the regatta kicked off with a bang. It was full on out on the water. A steady breeze of 18 to 22 knots of wind, which saw the boats flying downwind. Upwind, the waves were in to battle through, and there were some pretty exciting times at the mark roundings. The race management did a great job to get 3 races away. There were a couple of breakages, but overall clean and exciting racing. The first 2 races were led by Kids Inc. with Charlotte Bughazi at the helm and their red spinnaker leading the way downwind. An impressive kickstart to their scorecard for the regatta, and with professional sailors on board, including Olympic gold medalist Pippa Wilson, they all looked very comfortable in the big wind and waves.
Yeah, definitely. We're just here to do our best and to, keep practicing, have fun, learn a few things, keep in the flow. So yeah. Oh, there's some great sailors out there. I think, me personally, I was more focused on what we were doing. We just wanted to go out there and do the best we can. Obviously, we were watching the other boats in terms of tactically, but not too much for other particular sailors.
Nice, eh? SB20, it's not their Worlds, it's their Asia Pacific Cup, as you will have seen. The Dubai Offshore Sailing Club celebrating their 50th year this year, so nice to have them on the show. And bravo Zulu to all involved, all concerned. Nice video, too. And who was it saying here? Pippa's husband is from Dubai, John Emmett is saying, but... what was the comment? Oh, J. Frederick Bland. Boomer Bland, the submariner. And the very fit, I don't know, he's 60-year-old Finn and OK Dinghy and other sailor down in Austin, Texas. He's saying, great to see racing actually happening in wind.
Yes.
And Ed Kreise is saying, yes, it is Thomas Crapper. Why did I know that the toilet, the Crapper, was named after me?
Yes.
Or my name is involved in the Crapper. Yeah, cool vid. I agree. Nice vid, and bravo Zulu to them, and thanks for letting us use that. Julia, that gets us to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. A little bit different today for Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I think you will enjoy this. This showed up on the front door, I guess, of a Pizza Hut in Timmins, Ontario, Canada. In the last few days, due to unforeseen circumcisions, the dining room will be closed this evening. Sorry for the inconvenience. Open for the takeout and delivery only. For takeout and delivery only. Now, you got to give these guys credit, whoever runs this, guys and gals. But, I mean, when I use the word guy, I'm talking about guys and gals, right?
Yeah.
You got to give these folks credit because when they realized, and it was auto correct, obviously made a mistake. But again, you got to check your work. Like the U.S. sailing staff should be checking their work, Julia.
Yes.
And the work of their volunteers and everybody else before they misnomer a yacht club. So what I've done here is a top 4 reasons that this was funny. Okay? Like the old David Letterman lists. Number 4. How can a circumcision be unforeseen? Oh, they're coming in already. They're already coming in with better ones than my top 4 here. Number 3, don't order the sausage. You can shake your finger at me.
Awful.
Don't order the sausage, Julia.
I won't.
Now, somebody's got to come up with a reason why this is sailing related. Number 2, we promise the only thing we cut is the pizza.
Too much. Too much.
You got to have some fun. You got to laugh at yourselves. In the whole history of the world, none of us probably really matters except to our loved ones. Number 1, no tip is required. You like that one? Huh? You like that one? Give that one a thumbs up. Huh? Let's go to the comments, Julie, because they're coming in here. James, due to unforeseen circumcisions, how many are the... Yeah, Ed Worley got, I think I beat him to that. Shortages. Graham Sweeney says, is it due to staff cuts?
You guys.
Oh, come on. You got to have some fun. No tip is required. Okay, Pizza Hut in Timmins, Ontario. And I guess they do some sailing up there. I hope. Otherwise, Julia, this is not really sailing related.
No.
Okay. That gets us, thank God, to the finish line, and your witness, Julia.
Yes. Like, follow, and share. Share is easy and very productive.
And very helpful to us, indeed. If you will leave comments, again, as we say, no personal attacks, no name calling. I mean, public figures, you want to say, hey, I think you're doing your job badly. You can say that about me. You can say that about us, about our show. Opinions are welcome, pro and con. In fact, I often wonder why we don't, I worry when we don't get more con comments. But no personal attacks, no name calling, no coarse language, please. And you, our Fozy, help us reinforce that. Even in replay, we leave the comments open because on the rare occasion we get a Crutonic comment, Julia goes in there and
takes it out.
Deletes them, or I do, one or the other. Good fun. Southwold Sailing Club, whom we saluted the other day in a segment in this show, was nice to have you on, folks. It was really great to feature your terrific club. And Gordon Smith agreeing it's great that they are here. Graham's was the funniest comment. Bannerose is not bad, Julia. You see that? Well, that is the long and the short of it. If Graham Sweeney is taking one more, forgive me for saying this, one more whack at this, Julia. We are so juvenile. If the manager asks you to give him some skin, tell him he's already had his pound of flesh.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, enough. Enough of all that. All of you who contribute $1 or $2 or more per month to help keep us on the air, we are deeply appreciative. Give to us, become a patron via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. And thanks to all of you who do that. Thanks for your support. Thank you also to those who give us audio, video, and images. I always struggle to come up with the word images for this show. And people like Bannero, who just every now and then send along some of his best photos. Hey, you might want to use these in the show. Chaucer is saying I'd stay away from the onion rings at that pizza parlor at the pizza. John Mangy, you guys can't help yourselves. Gives new meaning to sliced mushroom caps.
Oh gosh.
Oh dear. Bill Porter saying, good show, however, was expecting much more constructive feedback to U.S. flailing. Well, Bill, we've given plenty of feedback, and we will continue to do so. Southwold Sailing Club saying they are going to follow from now on. It's great to have you. And the Savannah Yacht Club, a terrific club where that was going on. We should do more to feature them as well. Just a reminder that we will have coming up with us on February 9th, on Friday, a week from today, Ligia Golden Lily Zhu, live from Hong Kong. John's wife, Golden Lily Zhu, will be on. And the Chinese would say Zhu Ligia. They put the family name, the surname first. But most of us here in the West do it the other way around. Also, Dawn Riley, we're delighted that she is coming on Tuesday the 13th to talk not only about Oak Cliff, update us on what's going on at Oak Cliff, particularly this upcoming summer, but her views on the Olympic matter and more, the Olympic matter in this country. With that, we want to thank you very much for joining us for this show 682. Hope you have a great weekend wherever in the world you are. Go sailing, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.